So Richie, morning, brother.
How's it going, man?
How you doing?
Good day, yo.
How was your evening? You got yelled at or what? You got yelled at or what? I can't believe you. I can't believe you, Richie. Yeah. Who slept on the couch? Yeah. Huh? Really? Oh yeah, fuse. Follow me?
What are you doing?
Axle boot?
An axle boot. Why not the whole axle?
Because if it's warranty, you can't just do the axle.
I would have said that on my story.
Well, the cart shakes only when you're accelerating. So,
And it's an axle boot?
yeah.
What the
Well,
fuck?
the grease is all done.
Oh!
So since it has, it probably has a high and a low spot in weight, so it shakes.
I don't know, how the fuck would you figure that out?
So if you ever have a car that the complaint is it shakes on the freeway, you go drive it and you verify it, and then if you let off the gas, if it still shakes, then it's a balance issue. If it stops shaking when you let off, then you know it's something to do with the axles.
Even if it's not leaking?
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen that before too.
I would never think
Well,
that.
thank God I found it leaking, so I could right away say it's this side.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes there's no leak or nothing.
Or you just have to
You
go?
gotta chop in once.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't think axles have that power. Nice. Noted.
Where we at though?
Nice time.
So we're gonna be doing an axle boot. Customer complaint is the vehicle shakes around 65. So I verified the concern. The vehicle does shake only when you're on the accelerator pedal. If you let off, it stops shaking. So that tells me that the tire balance is not the problem. It is pretty common for this concern to be axle related. Thankfully, I did find the passenger side inner boot has leaked out most of its grease. So we're going to start off by replacing the boot and repacking the grease and test driving the vehicle. So this is for the big clamp. I think these are snap-on. So the clamp is going to have these little holes here and here. You just grab it with the pliers and squeeze. And you can see that the axle is dry. No more grease. There's a couple different types of axles. Some of them do have a snap ring here in the center. Which one does have one? You're gonna lift that in order to get the boot off, or the joint off. Some axles don't have anything there, so you need to smack those out or use a press to press them out. I always just use a big mallet. This one does have a clip. This clip sits inside of a groove of the actual joint. So now you could take off your axle end and make sure that you hold the actual bearings in place so they don't fall out. You're gonna have 3 of these joints. You set them aside. And then you have a snap ring holding the joint on the inside. So sometimes these don't come out smoothly, so you could use an air hammer or you could use a chisel and a mallet. Okay, so there's your boot. This is what comes in your kit. You can have a boot, a bag of grease, and your clamps. Well, first thing to do is put your small clamp over your boot and slide your boot over. You'll hear when the boot is in the right place. There's also a groove on the shaft. Then you grab these square dikes, grab your square and squeeze. Now you put your joint back on. You C-clip. Alright, now you put your grease in your boot and the rest of it goes in to your end. Then you can put your joints back in. So now you can put back your clip back into its groove. Just make sure you go around and make sure that that clip is in its groove all the way around. And that's it. Put your boot back on. Make sure that it's straight and flush. Wipe off your excess grease. Now you're gonna get your new clamp here. So if you look at the clamp, your pliers go here and here. You're gonna squeeze, and then this end needs to go over the last tooth. second hand for this, third hand. Daniel, can you help me squeeze these pliers? I can't get it all the way. I wasn't able to get the clamp on by myself. So we had to do two people, and then I use these big ass pliers to squeeze the pliers together. But got it on now. I recommend getting one of these bright tire. You want to punch your axles the way it comes from factory. That way the nut can't loosen itself.